The future of the yellow revolution, I think you have heard it from the day of our launch, when our president, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, had to announce to the world how we are going to start the new, where we are going to build a new culture among our people, how we are going to bring new politics that is competitive in terms of ideas and the vision for the future, where we say that the past must not dictate and stop us from determining the future of our country. The new that we are talking about in the yellow revolution is that the past has been so much congested with the politics of negativity, the politics of hate, the politics where the dominance of old ideas stagnated the growth of our country. We are now talking about the politics for the future and not the politics of the past. So the new that we have brought to the people of Zimbabwe became a shock and a surprise to many of our political rivals who did not expect ourselves to be able to re-engineer the new trajectory and the new energy towards the goals of achieving a free society in our country. Our politics is divorced from the politics where citizens were not taking the center stage in decision making, where decisions have been imposed upon our people without them taking a central role for the determination of how they want their future to be shaped. The yellow revolution has now brought the citizen back to the center, where all decisions will be centered around the input of the citizens on how they want the country to be run, on who should be their leader, on how the national decisions are going to be taken. No longer should the decision where budgets are going to be made being forced from the top, but what we need is for the people to tell us on how the national fiscals should be distributed for the national development, on how the implementation of the devolution among the citizens of our country, giving the ability of our people to have the center stage in decision making to each and every issues that will determine their future. So this is a new politics where citizens or the people are going to be the center of decision making in as far as determining the future of our country is concerned. This is one very important and fundamental issue where the yellow revolution is going to take the nation forward. No longer will decisions be forced from the top to bottom, but decisions are now coming from bottom to top, where centrally people are going to play a major role. And this is a new trajectory which is not used to be understood by our people who always knew leaders dictating to them what should be the decision for them to take. It's no longer the leadership imposing decisions to the people, but it's now the people who are making decisions on behalf of the way how the country should be run. So specifically, these are very important issues that the yellow revolution is concentrating on, and we're also expecting that the diaspora, population of our country, we have been playing a very major role in as far as fiscal remittance to our nation is concerned, making decisions on behalf of the way how the country should be run. So specifically, these are very important issues that the yellow revolution is concentrating on, and we're also expecting that the diaspora, population of our country, we have been playing a very major role in as far as fiscal remittance to our nation is concerned. More than 2 billion is being remitted to the nation yearly by our people in the diaspora, and for us to ignore that they should not be central in as far as making decisions on how our country should move forward would really be the most oppressive nature of running our nation. It's now where every citizen of our country should be given the right to make decisions on how our country should move forward. So specifically and in short, these are very important issues that we would share today onwards, and that that should be the foundation of our debate today. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sikhala there. Our brother Simbachi Kanza said that he believes that CCC should be government today and not wait for 2023 as everyone else is expecting. What's your comment on that?
The truth of the matter is that everybody knows that in 2018, our CCC president, presidential candidate, defeated ZANU-PF and so on. And on that basis, the foundation of the current government's legitimacy in our country remains a question to all citizens, that the current government is illegitimate. It did not drive its authority from the people, as they were clearly defeated at the recent elections. For 2023, you know, I would not say much, as you understand that I have been in trouble several times after having even said it publicly that Zimbabweans cannot afford to have ZANU-PF until 2023 on the basis of their, cluelessness on how to run our nation. And you knew that I was charged of treason. I was accused of treasonous act, where I had to go to court. So in that manner, as I'm still facing other matters before the courts, I will leave it to that one. But totally every citizen of this country agrees with the sentiments expressed by Simbachi Kanza, that we have been carrying a baggage of a government that has failed to give direction on the development of our country. The government that has clearly demonstrated that they are corrupt. They are not working for the interests of the people. It's a looting club where we have seen many of them concentrating more on primitive accumulation of wealth at the expense of the majority of our people, where we have seen that since the inception of the current regime, there is no any single job that has been created. The so-called road infrastructural development, with the so much talk about, is hollow and false, on the basis that only small patches of roads are being made and trying to be projected as if it's a massive national development of road infrastructure in our country. That is absolutely false. The truth of the matter is that this regime has failed to deliver anything since their inception to power. What they have only been able to do is for them to loot all the resources that are currently available in our country. We know how much these people have been stealing brazenly on an open day, on a daily basis, and we know how much has been put on offshore accounts. But these people who are claiming is just a few clique of less than 1,000 Zimbabweans who are eating on behalf of more than 17 million projected population of the people of Zimbabwe. The majority of our people are suffering. There is no end development that we have seen has taken place since Emerson Mnangagwa and his regime took over this country. So we are suffering. We have got no anything that is developed for the past 3 years since Emerson Mnangagwa has been in power. It's purely a loss. They lost 3 years where Zimbabweans still are growing more and more poorer than what they were, even during the period of Robert Mugabe. So the people of Zimbabwe are suffering more and worse. And for us to accept that Emerson Mnangagwa will be able to pull through Zimbabweans up to 2023 is hallucinatory and illusionary. This is a group of clueless looters whose belief is on a primitive accumulation of wealth, in looting whatever little the country is having, where a few are amassing amazing wealth, which is incomparable to any other people who are chief executives of international corporations. And that is the situation which we are living under. We are living under one of the most oppressive systems, the intensification of dictatorship, attempt to suffocate the opposition, the growth of gross human rights abuses, abduction and persecution of the opponents of the regime, something that has only been witnessed during the period of people like Pol Pot, where we have witnessed this kind of how to run the country during the period of people like Mobutu Sese Seko, where we are only witnessing this current kind of politics from people like Yoweri Museveni. Zimbabwe is now tend to become the worst dictatorship in the history of mankind. This regime has made sure that they will control their looting spree via the abuse and the suffocation of any democratic space in our country. We opposition are not allowed to campaign. You have seen what has happened to our President Advocate Nelson Chamisa when he had a program for him to go on the countryside to meet the citizens of our country, to run the country during the period of people like Mobutu Sese Seko, where we are only witnessing this current kind of politics from people like Yoweri Museveni. Zimbabwe is now tend to become the worst dictatorship in the history of mankind. This regime has made sure that they will control their looting spree via the abuse and the suffocation of any democratic space in our country. We opposition are not allowed to campaign. You have seen what has happened to our President Advocate Nelson Chamisa when he had a program for him to go on the countryside to meet the citizens of our country, to hear their concerns, and also for him to hear what are the problems our people are facing. We saw ZANU-PF trying to stop him from meeting the citizens of our country. We have also seen our meetings and rallies being thwarted by ZANU-PF. Even today, they stopped us to go and bury one of our own members in Chweshe, threatening that if we will go there, they are going to mobilize support unit, they are going to mobilize the police and ZANU-PF thugs in Mashula and Central to come and attack us. So they said our presence is not needed there. If we will go there, they will come and attack us. We are now living in a country of civilization that is not commensurate with 21st century politics. This is now the country of Zimbabwe. All of us are now living under. And it is now up to us, the citizens, for us to say, enough is enough. Until when will we accept ourselves to accept the biblical preaching of Jesus Christ, where if you are beaten on one cheek, you must give the other cheek? This is what has been happening in our country. It's no longer affordable politics. There are moments when the people will say enough is enough. And we are approaching that period where I'm telling you that now the people of our country are agitated. They are no longer able to accept themselves to be continuously abused by the current regime. And in that light, I totally and absolutely support the views of Zimbabweans that the people of Zimbabwe have suffered enough. 2023, although it is a constitutional scheduled timetable for elections in our country, but our country is not able to reach that time on the basis of the suffering and the way how our country has totally collapsed because of the misrule of the ZANU-PF regime and how people are suffering, and it's no longer tenable. This is what I can say to your question that you have asked, Comrade Moderator. I thank you.
Thank you so much for that. One last question before we start having questions from the audience. There has been this concern that we saw you during the launch in Marondera of the by-elections campaign for Caston Mateu, whose father is here in attendance. And yet, after the launch, the voter registration blitz came, and it seems as if from the messages that we are seeing on social media, including from our renowned journalist Hope Wachingono, that many people, not so many people, are going to register to vote. Is it because of intimidation that they are told don't go to vote? Is it just because they don't want to go? Is it only because they don't have IDs? Or what is preventing the people from being motivated to go and register to vote? Why aren't we seeing many queues of people besides the one at Batana School where 39 youths went and found a broken machine? How come we are not seeing that everywhere where there are queues of people registering to vote?
No, it's very simple. There is a multifarious of factors that is affecting the voter registration, please. But the main reason is that ZANU-PF systematically tried to marginalize our people from participating in the politics of their country by denying them identity registration cards. All the people who have turned 18 years, for the past 3 or so years. Some are now 22. They do not have IDs. The Registrar General's office is saying that they do not have the instruments and the facilities for them to make IDs. They are only giving a total of about 20 people per each Registrar General office to have IDs. So the people of Zimbabwe have not been given an opportunity for them to have IDs. Why it is different from the biometric registration that took place in 2018 is that during that time, when the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission were doing the voter registration process, the Registrar General's office was also in tow for them to give people instantly, where the voter registration exercise was taking place, instant giving people IDs. Now it's no longer like that. People are asked to bring the IDs which they don't have. The majority of people who are not currently registered voters are those who were not able to, who turned 18 in 2018, but were not eligible for them to be voters in 2018 because they reached 18 after the voter registration exercise is already elapsed. And those who became 18 years since 2018 up to present, who constitutes hundreds and who are constituting millions and millions of people. If you to calculate the number of school leavers who left school in 2018, who left school in 2019, who left school in 2020, and who also left school in 2021, this every year, if you would go and check our statistics, is that people who complete their secondary education annually are around 300,000 people. So if you multiply them by 4 or 5 years, they go as far as 2 million. But these people do not have IDs. The majority of these people do not have IDs. Neither do they have passports, because the same government is not able to produce passports. Those who are only able to register are now going via taking driver's licenses. So because the metallic driver's license are allowed to be used as voter registration identification card, but still the metallic driver's licenses are not also available to the people of Zimbabwe. So this is one major challenge. Secondly, is ZANU-PF's attempt to make sure that those few with IDs are not given an opportunity to register via intimidation, and also putting the registration centers far away from those who should register. If you realize on the blitz, which the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission has announced, the majority of the registration centers have been put in rural areas. And in urban areas, they just put some token places for people to go and register. And this has been very deliberate. And the things that they are demanding in urban areas, like the proof of residence, the majority of these people do not have houses. They live in urban areas. They need to go and approach the landlords, as the majority of them are tenants, to be given an affidavit or a proof of residence by the landlord. General landlords, are disinterested to facilitate their tenants to go and get registered, because they would thinking that you are a temporary occupant of his or her own place of residence. So it complicates again, where these people are not able to obtain, proof of residence from their landlords. So these are very serious challenges which our people are facing. And in short, I think these are some of the few reasons why I'm telling you why we are meeting the challenge of having as many people as possible to register. But the main challenge is that we must have a serious campaign against the government's attempt to disenfranchise our people from exercising their right to vote by denying them access to identity cards. We must push our people to be able to obtain their ID numbers. And as long as we are not able to get the identity documents for our people, it remains very difficult for us to have a bumper registration of voters. It is typically a rigging mechanism that which ZANU-PF has put in place, disenfranchise as many people as possible who have turned 18 from 2018 up to present, because in their own projection, these people will not fall on the side of ZANU-PF supporters. So it's a huge challenge. We must all have a national campaign to make sure that our people obtain registration identity documents.
Thank you so much. I would have asked the many questions, but we have got a lot of guests who are here. So before I go to our guests, I see that co-host Washington, you are unmuted. Would you like to say something in under a minute?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable. It's always a pleasure to have you on a space, speaking to you, hearing what is happening. Normally, when we have our spaces like this, we also do our fundraising, and our fundraising is in line to try and facilitate our party, basically, to be able to enable the party to do things like helping people to go and vote, fuel, airtime, you name it. So this evening, morning, this afternoon, I'm now talking to everyone from all parts of the world. Could you do me a favor, please? If we could retweet, just retweet the message which is here and say the Honorable is speaking, so that people knows and can also join those who are not aware. Those who are here already, we have put a link that we are asking for your donation right at the top of our space for you to do your donations. I've donated my $50 already. As you go on the donation, you've got a link where if you are able to use PayPal, you can go straight in and use a PayPal. There's at the same link right at the bottom, there's a link which says a card. So on that particular one, you can use a credit card or debit card. And I really ask that you help us facilitate our party with the resources. I probably might ask our Honorable to probably just give people a highlight of the challenges that we have with resources, which could get people to understand why we are doing what we are doing.
No, everyone in Zimbabwe knows that ZANU-PF's first strategy, which they used to make sure that they inoculate us from challenging, the status quo, was through depriving us of what legitimately belonged to us via the votes we obtained in 2018. The Political Parties Finance Act proscribes that a political party that has participated in an election and obtained more than 5% of the national votes is entitled to the funding via the national treasury, where a political party will be allocated some amount of money commensurate to the number of votes or the percentage retained of votes which the political party obtained in an election. In 2018, we have been the second largest political organization represented in parliament. They usurped our mandate from the people, gave that mandate to Douglas Monjora and his outfit, where the political party was now deprived of its funding and transferred it to Douglas Monjora. Brazen broad daylight robbery against the will of the people of Zimbabwe. The sovereignty of our people is overthrown after ZANU-PF made sure that we are starved and suffocated of any financial assistance via the legitimate means, where the number of votes we obtained in 2018 is going to be counted for the amount which we must be allocated via the national treasury. This left our party in total financial crisis, where we have not been able to conduct our day-to-day business. We turned into having our meetings under the trees because they took almost everything, including the party headquarters and the party offices throughout the country. It left the party limping. But we had major resources that we always said to ourselves, We believe because the people are on our side. This is the major resource that we have. We will remain standing tall and firm towards the revolution of the people and make sure that we will not disappoint or betray the people's dream of a new Zimbabwe. We will push and fight, even no matter that we don't have a coin, but our spirit is driven via our commitment for us to get a new Zimbabwe. And also we believe that those people who have been standing on our side will come to chip in and make sure that they assist us in as far as meeting the obligations to fight for the right of our citizens is going to be delivered. There is no doubt that the will of our people cannot be underestimated. They've been standing with us for a long time. You have been standing with us for a long period. And it is now the time for you to come on board and say, brethren, you have weathered every trial and tribulation that has been thrown your way. We will stand with you until we have obtained a free and fair and a free and fair society for every citizen of our country. This is where you come in. We are now just a new outfit, a political party that has no another source of income except its own people. Our people needs massive t-shirts throughout the country. Some people will come and suggest that we must sell t-shirts so that we are going to use it as a fundraising strategy for the party. Although the idea is very brilliant, but here comes ZANU-PF having 5 million t-shirts donated for free by the Chinese, having their regalia donated free by ZANU-PF, bringing them and throw them even in the streets for anybody who want to wear it. That's why you realize that you will see many people wearing ZANU-PF regalia in the streets, but these people will not be ZANU-PF supporters. They will even tell you that we are using them as pajamas, and others are just saying, because we don't have clothes and we don't have money, that's why we are putting up on them. We are not able to match ZANU-PF in as far as, providing the need of our masses require. So we need also to give our people t-shirts. We need also the budget to make sure that, for us to make sure that rigging is not going to be another excuse in 2023. Each and every polling station must have not less than 6 polling agents who will protect the people's vote. We might vote all of us, but as long as we are not going to be able to have polling agents at each and every polling station throughout the country, we are going to repeat the same history. These polling agents need to be fed. We don't want them to ask for food from ZANU-PF. Polling agents will be there because ZANU-PF abuses national resources. They simply just take a chunk from the national fiscus and sponsor their political activities. Our polling agents need to be well funded for them to be able to defend our vote. They must not be starving polling agents who will not get even a meal on the day of voting and at the period of counting. We don't want to compromise again our victory in 2023. This can only be able to be obtained via our members who will come generously and donate towards the liberation of their country. We need posters, flyers, information dissemination, a lot of equipment. We need computers for us to be able to give tabulation of our membership per each and every branch, per each and every constituency or a district in this country. We need the tabulation of our total national membership so that we'll be able to account for each and every vote that we are going to obtain. So all this can only be able to happen if we have got enough resource power for us to meet ZANU-PF man for man, head to head, toe to toe. Without that, we risk ourselves being robbed of our victory at every time. So we are pleading to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, who have come to this program today, to understand the nature of the challenges that we are facing. We are here on the forefront fighting to make sure that Zimbabwe becomes a free and happy society for all of us. We are also pleading to all of you to come on board and assist us, to give us an opportunity to have a fighting chance against the dictatorship, like what I earlier alluded. That is more than any dictatorship that has been witnessed in the whole world. I thank you.
Thank you so much, VC, for that passionate appeal. Please find it in your heart. We are more than 200 right now. A T-shirt costs between $5 and $7. Meaning that if you find it in your heart whilst you are here, we can actually all go and donate $10. We can buy 2 T-shirts for 2 people, so that we don't have to wait for them to pick the ZANU-PF regalia in the streets, as what VC has said. 500 posters actually cost $100. So if you actually find it in your heart to give us to donate to the party $100, that might cover 500 posters right there, and it will be very, very helpful. If there are flyers, they even cost less if they are since they are smaller. So any amount that you have, even $1, when we are 200 and we put $1 each, it will actually come up to $200, and we'll be able to buy 1,000 flyers with that. So after the passionate appeal, there is a link which is pinned in this Twitter space. Just go and do anything that you can, so that we can a future for the Yellow Revolution, because the battle for 2023, it is not only a battle for votes, it is also a financial battle. Because as you know, there's no money. We need money to help us in 2023. That's the first thing. Then the battle for votes, our votes are being suppressed because many people don't have IDs. So the few that are there, they shouldn't be taken by ZANU-PF through free regalia and free things. So the only person who the Yellow Revolution
sorry, Lisa, just a small interruption here. Honorable Sikhala, I'm just hearing here it's an announcement from inside the party that alleges when Honorable Wenda was has been abducted at Makoni shopping center.
You know, like what I'm telling you, the whole day has been a battle against ZANU-PF that has hijacked the funeral of our member. It was